I just have in my notes. And then they're saved by Harriet fucking Tubman. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, 407 vampires ago? We're back with another brand new episode of the Horror Bin podcast. I'm here with my good friend, fellow comedian, very, very funny, fellow podcaster as well. It's Kiki Andersen.
Hello, Julian.
Kiki, thank you so much for doing the show. I appreciate it. You brought an interesting movie here today to add to the bin. Before we get into that, what's your experience with horror? Like, where are you at in terms of the horror fan scale spectrum?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Julian. I'm honored to be here. In terms of horror, I'm a big horror fan. Probably not as big as like you or like, you know, there's people that like go to conventions. I'm not one of those,
Right.
but I love horror. But I like campy horror, which is why I picked this one.
Yeah, you picked a very interesting one. Today we're doing Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Some people might argue that's not really a horror movie. It has vampires in it, so for this podcast, it counts.
But that would be like saying like Young Frankenstein isn't a horror movie. Like, no, it's not scary.
It's not.
But...
Yeah, it's not a horror movie, but it is in the realm of horror, and that's what we try to encourage here. You know, that's what we're trying to achieve, guys.
Really exciting.
I do a lot of asides to the camera. Just me.
That's right, me too. I've been raising my eyebrows a lot.
But before we get into talking about this movie, we got the trailer. Let's take a quick look.
And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. And I looked, and behold, was death.
I love this silhouette walking in.
Right? Kind of horny for Abe Lincoln. I don't know.
And I saw. And hell followed me.
Oh, that's the real American history.
And why not just end the whole trailer on fucking destroying a tree? For those that don't know, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a 2012 film based off the book of the same name and written by the writer of the book, Seth Graham Smith, produced by Tim Burton and directed by Timur, Jesus Christ, Bekmambetov. Which, if you're gonna have a last name like that, I feel like you are gonna make a movie like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, you're gonna fill a weird niche.
Yeah. I've been told that the book is very different. Apparently,
Oh, really?
I didn't do too much research into the book, at least, just because I want to base this just solely on the fact that it's a movie.
Yeah,
I was aware that it was a book. Did you ever read the book, or
I didn't
did you
even
know
know there was a book, but I think that this is the same people that made
Pride and Prejudice and
Yeah.
Zombies? Yeah, same
Uh-huh.
guy. I saw that too. I'm going to find a Jane Austen fan to be on this podcast because I have some questions. But why this movie?
Man, what's not to love?
Because I remember when I first asked you to do the podcast, you gave me a couple of options. Neither of them were Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I think you said Teeth, which I was very hesitant to say yes, but I am willing to say yes.
Sounds like you have some PTSD.
I bet. I 100% bet. Yeah, I think you gave me Teeth, and you gave me like another one. I remember was not Abraham Lincoln. So why when we're officially setting the date, you decide Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Well, Julian, I think that Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter is a very polarizing movie for reasons that you have said and other reasons. People say it's not a horror movie. People say it sucks. People say it's corny. I love corny horror. First of all,
Yeah.
I think this is like a really high budget film, first of all.
Yeah.
It looks really quality. I love Tim Burton. I love everything he does.
But just a producer on this one, but
Right.
yeah, but
Right,
I know what you mean. Like I remember hearing that like he was attached to the film in some way, and before there was a time where huge Tim Burton fan.
Yeah.
Still kind of am. I want more original Tim Burton stuff, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's It's like, all right, well, I still have Beetlejuice, I still have Big Fish and Ed Wood, so
Yeah, those were
I
some of
can't be
my
too mad.
first favorite movies. And I love American history, so I love a story that takes American history and flips it on its head. And it's like, well, what if this guy was a vampire hunter? You
it
know?
is.
What if he kills racist?
It is very weird. It is very jarring because it does lean more towards the action genre than it does horror. I'd say the only real horror elements are the fact that he's fighting vampires.
Yeah.
They are southern vampires, and they are the slaveholders, which is. There was a moment during this movie I was watching. I was like, I wish Nikki Haley was when she got asked like, what caused the Civil War? She was like, vampires. Duh. Have you guys not seen this historical drama?
I think that's what she was getting at. Huge Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter fan. And that Nikki Haley. She shouldn't be president based on that fact alone.
Yeah. But $69 million, sexy number. But $69 million to make this movie. I don't know if it shows really.
I don't know. I mean, it looks quality. It's definitely not low budget. Like the special effects are cool. Like that scene with the horses, the scene with the train. Like
The scene with the horses is so weird.
You didn't like it?
It's so weird. It's him and another vampire hopscotching along on top of horses as it's like just a giant, never-ending stampede because they come from a farm and then they go onto a field. But it's I don't know. I don't know too much about farms. I don't think they have that many horses in real life.
Yeah. Well, I grew up around farms, and horses definitely don't do that. They're more like, feed me. You know?
Yeah, so I was that scene I was definitely very much just okay. Well, this is happening.
I'm getting the impression that you hated this movie.
I was enjoying myself watching this. I was enjoying watching this movie. I don't think for the reasons that a horror fan would enjoy the movie, though.
Right. And I totally I acknowledge that.
Because like I said, I mean, there's not the only real elements of horror in this is the zombies. I'd say like the first time he encounters and fights did I say zombies? Vampires. But the first time he fights a vampire and the first time you actually see like him doing all that was probably like the only time I really had like a, oh shit, hello.
Yeah, there's a couple good jump scares and then it's not really scary at all.
Yeah, it's yeah. In terms of the scares, it is on the weaker side.
Yeah, there's not a good fear
action-y.
factor to it. But I don't know, racists are scary and you give them fangs and that's scary. I think that is.
You give racists anything and you're like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
Power? Oh God.
Right.
But also stacked cast too with you got Benjamin Walker playing Abraham Lincoln. I haven't really seen him in anything else, but and as of right now, him and Daniel Day-Lewis, best Abraham Lincolns I've seen on TV and movies. So good, got that going for him. You got Anthony Mackie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Mary Todd.
Yeah. Where is she from? I've seen her in something else.
She's been in everything. She's right now she's in the new Star Wars Ahsoka show. She's Renona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
She's been a lot. She's one of those actresses that you see everywhere, and I can never remember her name.
It is very funny how serious everyone plays it. Everyone they're playing real historical figures, and they're like, we're playing it just straightforward, and then there's also vampires in this, so we'll go along with that. We got Rufus Sewell.
He was in one of my other favorite horror movies. That I might have been the one I said to you, She Creature.
She Creature.
Yeah, like nobody knows.
She? Okay.
Nobody knows this movie. It's one of my.
I don't like the genderedness of it all, but I was just don't care.
There's titties. I mean, they are she titties. They are, you know.
I'm not concerned about whether or not there's titties. I'm almost certain there are. But what is it? She
Creature.
She Creature. Never heard of that. Is it like a pretty low? It sounds like a low budget B.
Yeah, I don't even know if it ever made it to theaters or not. But my mom and I watched it when I was little, and Rufus Sewell's in it, and then the mom, the woman that plays the mom in Spy Kids. What's her name?
Oh God, I don't remember her name, but she is gorgeous.
Yeah, God, what was her name? Carla Gugino.
That sounds right. I feel, because she has like a very she's got some spice saucy last name. All right.
Yeah. So it's about this like couple like captures this mermaid that like eats men.
Okay.
So it's
I'm on
pretty-
board so far.
Yeah, it lives in the same world as Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Like,
Yeah,
is it
Carla.
scary? No.
Carla Gugino.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
That was
bad.
it. She's gorgeous. Granted, she was like 21 when she did Spy Kids, I think.
Yeah, I know. It feels like
As-
centuries ago.
That's the most upsetting thing to like when you start looking back and it's like, oh man, like she's aged so well. Yeah, she was 18 when she did that when she played a 40-year-old mom.
I know, but when I saw her, I thought she was like 40.
Mhm. Oh yeah, same. I was a kid. I was just like, that's a hot mom. It's just like
Right.
she could be my older sister if she
Right,
wanted to
still
be.
is a spy kid. She's a spy young adult.
Spy young adult, yes. You also got Dominic Cooper in this movie as Henry Sturgis and Jimmy Simpson as Joshua Speed. Again, just it's a talented cast. Weird movie to see them all in. Very weird movie. I feel like Dominic Cooper probably regrets doing this vampire movie more than Dracula Untold. But yeah, for those that don't know, also because we've just been saying the title of this movie, and you're probably just like, what the fuck is this about? I will tell you. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. While still a boy, Abraham Lincoln loses his mother to a vampire's bite. He vows revenge, but fails in the attempt, narrowly escaping with his life. He is rescued by Henry, played by Dominic Cooper, a charismatic vampire hunter who instructs Abe in the fine art of dispatching bloodsuckers. Abe, played by Benjamin Walker, continues his fight against the undead well into adulthood and his presidency. I love every minute of this. Making a last stand against the ultimate vampire foe, Rufus Sewell, on the eve of the Civil War's defining battle.
True.
It is because I mean they even put like towards the end of the movie like everyone will remember the myth of Abraham Lincoln and they'll just remember him as a legend, this and that. So they are playing on the idea of Lincoln just in real life as a person being like put on this pedestal of like one of the best presidents. He did this, he did that, blah 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 blah. I think nowadays we're kind of knowing like it's not like he was like gung ho like always like, hey, slaves should be freed.
Yeah, I don't
From
even
day
think it was
one.
like that he just like loved black people. I think
No.
it was like, well, this probably isn't good in the long term.
One of his solutions for the Civil War was like, hey, black people, what if we give you like a separate place you can call your own?
Right.
That's a legit suggestion he had. It was just
Yeah.
like, how about you take this patch of land and that's Blacktown. Everything else will be America. And everyone's like, no. And he's like, okay, well, we'll free people then.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere too that, please, if I'm wrong on this, like, don't quote me, but I think I read that he also offered to send all the slaves back to Africa, and they were like,
Oh,
we were
yeah.
born here.
Yeah.
Like, we live here. We toiled this land. It's ours now, you know?
And so in this movie, it does kind of the similar thing where even like when they start off with him as a kid, the inciting incident basically to his mom dying is that he stood up to save his friend, a black child, from being beaten and attacked and everything. And then the slaveholder starts beating the shit out of him because he's helping. And then his dad comes in and stop it. And then both the parents are like, everyone should be treated with respect. And I'm looking there, I'm like, you guys don't think that. Nah, the real
Yeah.
people did not think that way. Liars. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
it was just
anybody was that moralistic back then.
it was very weird just to have it be like, no, from the get-go they were against everything. Okay. All right.
There is that kind of myth around him. You're right.
Especially with vampires, you have kind of that fun freedom to put them in any time period and do whatever you want with them. I do think it is just very weird to put them in a time in like such a I guess critical pivotal moment in American history specifically. And using like real characters. Like there's a part where they're escaping the South. And who comes to their rescue? Oh, it's Harriet Tubman.
And she was fine.
Yeah. She's great. But hey, let's throw Harriet Tubman in here into this vampire movie. She had so much concern about it, but little did she know, vampires. And then towards the end, they use her again to save the Underground Railroad to save the day at Gettysburg. The bloodiest battle in American history. That's how it really happened. It's because we made silver weapons.
Yeah, that we were transporting using the Underground Railroad.
It's so the line when they're on the train and Adam, the head bad guy vampire, is like, where's the silver? It's not the only, and Anthony Mackie's like, it's not the only train. And then suddenly you see them at Gettysburg doing all the silver weapons.
Railroad, yeah.
Yeah. So weird. So very weird.
I like it though. I love anything vampires, really. I'm one of those. And I like the idea that a vampire is literally sucking the blood, like, out of the country and out of, like, the things that, like, America's supposed to be. And, like, you know, I think that's a cool idea. But I am always curious, like, why do we make vampires sexy, cool, and well-dressed and everything, right?
So you want a slob vampire?
Kinda. I want that. I want to see that movie, right?
Just a slacker bloodsucker.
Incel. The
Oh,
guy
there
in
you
my
go.
comment section, definitely a vampire, right?
Yeah, that's the tagline for the lazy vampire movie. This bloodsucker is a slacker. This slacker bloodsucker. There you go. It's guys, just hire studios. Just fucking hire me, please. Somebody give me a job.
I haven't seen that movie. I'm here for it.
Where if vampires were real, not saying they're not, but if vampires were real, would you be on board with doing that, with being a vampire?
God, I just feel like people taste like shit, right? I feel like people are so dirty. I'm already grossed up enough, but grossed out enough by people. I can't even fucking talk. Thinking about it, it's making me stutter. I'm just,
yeah. No, I agree. Everyone with diabetes and calories and bad blood and
right. It's just like fucking McDonald's, but like the second layer of it, it's already gone through a human.
Oh no. Ugh, God.
Yeah. But I'd like to have all the cool superpowers that they have, you know? Like,
it was weird. It was weird that they decided this entire movie to like kind of ignore the whole sun killing vampires thing.
Yeah,
they didn't really.
Choice.
They kind of glossed over it really briefly, just being like they've adapted to the sun. Fucking how?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Maybe because they fight wars during the day, so they needed the vampires to be impervious.
I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's. You fight enough wars, you overcome your weaknesses. I don't know. It was that there was like a good trade off that I saw from the fact that they. Damn it. I know.
Like are you talking about their superpowers?
Yeah, there was like a power that they had that I was like, okay, that's a good trade-off.
Oh, that they can't kill other vampires.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
yes. Oh my God, Kiki coming in with the save. Yeah, the fact that they can't kill each other. I thought that was an interesting trade.
Yeah.
Because the sun is like the go-to weapon
right.
to use against a vampire. So I mean, if you're gonna take that away, I would hope you put something in its place, like that.
Yeah.
This little added rule was in there.
Yeah, well, because don't vampires, like in vampire lore, like don't they have some weird relationship with their maker? Like they're at their mercy forever.
I don't think there's anything really like a solid like this is the rule when it comes to like your vampire maker or whatever. I think there's always been played around with like what can happen between like your maker and your maker and you. Like if you kill the vampire that turned you, you're turned back into a human. I've heard that before. If you kill the head vampire, all the vampires that they made die. And then most of the time when it comes down to that stuff, like most of the time it's like you kill the head vampire,
Yeah.
And you just hope that their thralls are like, I guess we'll just fuck off.
It was a good push though for like why what's his face recruits Abe Lincoln though, because I can't do it myself.
Right away though, you could tell like, oh yeah, Dominic Cooper's a vampire
For sure, he had vampire vibes.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he throws a vampire against a building and it just shatters.
Yeah.
And then it's not until like halfway through, it's supposed to be like, you're a vampire too. And I'm over here, I'm like, fucking yeah.
Yeah, he was fucking this girl in the bathtub and she was screaming like.
This dude has been fucking throwing people through walls and shit. Yeah, of course he is. And look how handsome he is.
Right.
Goddamn, guys. Of course, this guy's
That's
fucking
what I'm
a fucking
saying.
vampire.
Is they need a decoy. They need a slobby vampire.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, they need a real porker. They had a few uggos in there though.
Yeah.
They had a few uggo vampires in there.
Real porker.
But even like him getting like, because right when he starts training him, it gets into a very like superhero, like actiony vibe. I mean, he gets a whole training montage, and I love that. It's not Abraham Lincoln doesn't have any like powers. He doesn't have any like nothing like special to him or about him. He just tells him, "I want you to cut that tree in half in one swing." I can't. Well, imagine that it's something you hate. And he's just like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate that. And it just explodes. I'm like, if all it takes is hating on something really hard, I should be fucking Superman at this point. There's so much. I'm not chopping down any trees. I haven't tried. That is a good point. I have not.
Maybe it's in you.
Watch out, trees. I'm coming for you.
Don't give this man an axe.
But yeah, overall, like, I mean, decent. I'd say a decent fun watch. I wouldn't necessarily say I'd put it up there in terms of like even amongst B horror movies. I wouldn't really put it up there in there with them. I'd say this is more for me. This is more just like if I'm looking for a fun dumb action kind of movie, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean on my scary scale, I'm putting it at a 0. And this is the first one. You've heard it here first. Scale 0 for the horror scale there.
Wow, I'm here to break records.
It's gonna happen. I mean, listen, I put it out there to people when I invite them on. I'm like, hey, as long as it has like its toe dipped in horror, that's all it needs for this podcast. So
yeah, because I know you're gonna have fucking Chucky, who I love, and Saw.
We're gonna have those classics. We're gonna have the classics. We're gonna have some underground stuff. We're gonna also have some ones that are like, I don't want this anywhere near my horror bin. I don't want this in. I don't want people to find this. So, but I will say it does have vampires. They are interesting. On a scale of 1 to 10, just overall, where would you put this at?
Ooh, I have weird taste. I'm gonna rank it high because it has all of the corniness that I love and look for in a movie. Like I'm not looking for Oppenheimer, you know. Oppenheimer's a great movie. It's 3 hours. It is a film. I don't need this movie to be a film. I need it to be fun. I don't get sick of watching it. I watched it a million times over the course of my life. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
Okay. When you said you were gonna give it a high, I was like waiting for you to be like 9. I was
No.
Get the fuck out of here, Kiki.
No. I was on Big Fish at 9.
Get your ass out of here.
I should have just fucked with you.
That nonsense.
Can we do that over? I'm gonna give it a 9.
So funny. I mean, I'm giving it a 5. It's kind of that middle of the road, and
you
then
have no taste.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Slow it down. But overall, within the scale of here for the bin, you know, I wouldn't say it's up there on the surface where it's like, you know, one of those classics you got to get. I don't think it's a treasure that you can find as you dig in the bin. I think this is definitely a movie that's going to be reserved for the bottom of the bin.
Oh yeah,
I don't think this
lives in the $5 bin.
Yeah, this isn't this. Yeah, in the bin scale, it's on the bottom. You can pass on it if you want. That's what I'm saying. This is my show, goddammit. I will mute you in editing. No. But yeah, like overall, like in terms of the premise of the horror bin in general, I'm putting it at the bottom of the bin. It's not something that I'm like, hey, dig in there, you'll find it. It's more like, hey, if it's down there, it's down there. You find it, you find it. If it never sees the light of day, nobody's gonna get upset. Maybe Kiki. Maybe Kiki will get upset.
There are people like me out there, and that's what this movie's about, you know?
Finding your kind.
Your kind, your tribe.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Kiki says, be with your own kind, people. I wouldn't say it, but before we start wrapping this up, I do also want to point out the movie begins and kind of ends with Lincoln leaving for the theater, and I audibly went, Lincoln, no!
I had an emotional response. See, that's film.
That even like the ending movie is like Lincoln's like preparing to leave, and Dominic Cooper His character is just like, Lincoln, you can do so many great things. Let me turn you immortal. Let me turn you into a vampire. Like, no, I think I'm just going to go to the theater and have a good old time. No, Lincoln, no!
I did want them to show us how he got killed.
I was half expecting somehow Rufus Sewell was not dead and he turned out to be John Wilkes Booth.
Right. And then we got Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, 2.
2? Oh, yeah.
The world needs 2 of these.
I don't know about that. That's where you're at. There was like one other thing that I was thinking of that I was like, this is funny. Oh, so in terms of like the villains and the monsters, I do because that's one thing we didn't talk about. Is just the vampires in general. I do think they had an interesting look to them. I mean, like you said, like it's kind of par for the course to make just the vampires young and handsome, gorgeous looking people. In terms of the villainy of it all, other than Adam, and I think his name was Jack, which is the guy who killed Abraham's mom. They had a second, like I say, big bad villain, which was Adam's sister.
Yeah,
who they clarify is his enforcer. So you're expecting, you hear that, you're thinking like, oh, she's gonna go around, she'll be fucking people up, she'll be doing some crazy shit. She barely does anything.
Yeah, she just has that one cool scene in the chair where she's like kind of
she's just pinning Abraham Lincoln down, and then she gets Tokyo drifted by a carriage.
Wait, hold on. She kills Abe Lincoln's son.
I could kill Abraham Lincoln's son. All right. Doesn't take that much work. And if anybody's upset that I said that.
Yeah, but you know what? You would be noticed if you dressed like a French maid and walked into the White House.
Yeah, I can do that right now. Walk in. Where's Hunter? No.
You just have to give him a little bit of blow. He'll take it.
But the fact that she didn't really do anything kind of bugged me. And that was just like one thing I just wanted to bring up and be like, and then the fact that Mary Todd is the one who shoots her and kills her at the end she did nothing the entire movie.
I did think the Mary Todd character was an interesting choice because I'm actually literally listening to a podcast right now about Abraham Lincoln. Don't ask why. But the podcast says that Mary Todd was kind of a buzzkill. She was kind of a cunt. She was always like telling Abe what to do.
I had that. You get that vibe from the movie.
You got that?
A little bit.
I thought she was too sweet.
Yeah. Oh, a bit of both.
Yeah.
Just kind of knowing that Mary Todd had like kind of like issues or whatever. You're kind of like, oh, this Mary Todd's kind of this is very rom-com-y kind of Mary Todd here.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I mean, we're gonna keep it in the bin. It's gonna be at the bottom of the bin. But overall, if you find the time to watch it, give it a watch. If you got nothing to do and you got like just tons of weed to smoke, that's the time to watch it.
Listen, if you have an artistic palette and you appreciate nice things, watch this movie.
No, go ahead and keep it.
That's it. That's my time. I'm done here.
I again, I'm not discounting it from the bin. It lives in the bin. It's still in the bin.
Okay.
It's still available.
And that's why I like it. You know what? People like to hate it, and that's why I'm gonna stay.
Sometimes some movies, they're bad funny. They're bad fun.
Yeah.
And this is a bad fun movie. What I consider a bad fun horror movie? No. Is it a bad fun action-y horror movie? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty goofy. And if you feel pretty like uneasy about the fact they use Harriet Tubman and the Civil War as the backdrop for a lot of things, hey, all power to you. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And apparently Kiki Andersen enjoys it. Thank you so much for bringing it on the bin. Kiki, you got your camera right here. You got anything to plug? Where can people find you?
Yeah, well, thank you, Julian, for having me. I have my own podcast called Indecent with Kiki Andersen. We just launched our 2nd season, so check us out.
Hell yeah, season 2. And then socials?
Socials are at It's Kiki Andersen, and the podcast is Indecent Kiki.
Make sure to check her out. You can find me on all the things at Julian F. Comedy. You can follow this podcast on Instagram at HorrorBinPod. Make sure, guys, to like, share, subscribe, do all the fun things, comment. I would love to see this podcast grow. We'd love to keep on having great people back. Kiki, thank you so much. I'm sure next time we'll probably end up doing teeth. I feel like You put that in my head. I feel like we got to eventually do that.
So good. And it's very scary. For the wrong reasons.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just simply saying I'm mentally prepared.
Is it too scary for you?
Here's the thing. I can like sit through an entire Saw movie marathon and be like, I'm hungry. Like afterwards. If it has anything to do, and this is my weakness, guys, if it has anything to do with finger or toenails specifically, or crotchal injury, doesn't matter man or woman, doesn't matter what you got down there, just if something's going on with your crotch, pain-wise, I'm kind of like, ugh. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's insane. That's a quality stance. Julian 2024. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next time with another movie to add to the horror bin. But as always, I had a good one sign off for this. I guess not. 4 score and get those bloodsuckers out of the South. Bye.